Are you or a loved one considering senior housing, hoping to find an option where independence and comfort go hand in hand? Deciding on senior housing for yourself or a loved one can be overwhelming and very stressful, especially when many people associate senior housing with sterile hospital-like environments. But much has changed in the past 2 decades, and you might be surprised to find there are many options available for seniors depending on their needs and wants. And in this video, we will talk about independent living communities. These communities offer worry-free living, social interaction, all while allowing seniors to maintain their independence. But what is independent living? Independent living is designed for older adults who are generally healthy, active, and capable of living independently. Independent living communities will have age restrictions, typically requiring residents to be 55 years of age. The goal of these communities is to blend the comfort of home with the conveniences of a resort. They are designed to offer a place where seniors can maintain independence while enjoying access to amenities, social opportunities, and support services. People in independent living communities do not need help with the activities of daily living. In the industry, activities of daily living are often referred to as ADLs. This is an important concept to remember when seeking senior living. The extent of care one needs will determine what residential options might be best for them. Although independent living communities are geared towards healthy and active people, many residents will opt to take advantage of additional services like housekeeping, meal plans, home maintenance, and other repair services. Independent living communities typically do not include medical care as part of their services. Residents are expected to manage their own healthcare needs. Independent living facilities are generally not regulated by the federal government, although they might sometimes be subject to state and local guidelines. Independent living communities are considered private pay arrangements, and they are designed for healthy seniors. And as such, these communities are going to be limited in the medical assistance that they provide to their residents. So it's vital to know what services you or your senior need when choosing an independent living community. Now, people often refer to all senior housing options as assisted living. But in actuality, assisted living is an option for senior housing with its own particular criteria and levels. And we will talk about assisted living in future videos. If this sounds like more than you want to deal with alone, check out the link pinned in the comments below where we can schedule a call to discuss finding the right community for you in your area. Independent living communities offer private accommodations such as apartments, condos, and houses, giving their residents their own space to call home. The goal of these communities is to provide maintenance-free living by helping residents with tasks like housekeeping, lawn care, meals, home repairs, and maintenance. And that's going to free the residents from those kind of responsibilities. But the amenities and social activities are going to be the highlight of independent living. Independent living communities are going to offer different amenities to encourage socialization. The community will have someone generally who will be organizing activities and events to keep people engaged and entertained. It is the ideal situation for people who are going to be hungry for socialization and community. Many independent living communities are going to offer amenities like fitness centers, swimming pools, libraries, game rooms, and even beauty salons. It's common for these communities to have art and cooking classes, book and gardening clubs, or other things that speak to the needs of their particular community. So perhaps they could change and evolve over time. Independent living communities are going to allow seniors to structure their daily routines and make choices that align with their interests and preferences. The residents can also choose to participate in activities they enjoy while engaging with other residents. So now we get to the important part. Location, location, location. You will find independent living communities everywhere you want to be. You're going to find them in beachfronts, golf courses, and other beautiful scenic areas. Independent living communities are going to be abundant in retirement-friendly states. So those would be states that offer things like a low cost of living, low taxes. So think of places like Florida and Arizona. The type and kind of communities are really only limited by your imagination. You're going to find them in cultural centers surrounded by the arts and fine dining, in peaceful suburbs, and in bustling vacation areas. There are also specialty communities where residents can pursue religious or academic pursuits, and less common things like cruise ship and farm-based retirement communities. So it's important to seek a community that reflects your interests. If you want to be in a community with a golf course and fine dining, you will not be happy in a community that offers gardening and trips to the mall. So you need to pick a community where you can follow your passions and meet like-minded people. So another popular reason people will seek senior housing is safety and security. These communities prioritize the well-being of their residents with such things as secure entrances, emergency response systems, and on-site staff to assist residents if needed. And this gives a sense of security to the seniors and their families so they can feel confident and at ease, knowing there is a system in place. So what are the cons? I mean, there has to be some, right? And there are things to keep in mind. Transitioning to senior living can be really emotional, especially if one is leaving a house with a lot of memories or an area where they're very comfortable. Most people who are transitioning to senior housing are downsizing. So when they join a senior community, this can be very stressful because people don't like to get rid of their things. People like their stuff. And one of the nice things about this, when you're thinking of independent living, is that generally there's time to pick a community at leisure. It's not usually something you're going to pick in an emergency situation, such as like a skilled nursing home, for example. Sometimes that happens very quickly. So when you're picking an independent living community, really take your time to make sure that it's something that is of interest to you, that offers the amenities and features that you want in your life. Another perceived con is that independent living communities tend to have very robust and active HOAs, and this can be frustrating to those who have not taken the time to read and understand the covenants, conditions, and restrictions of their community. And I'm going to tell you from my experience as a realtor here in St. Louis, Missouri, you should always read the covenants, conditions, and restrictions of any place you move before you move there. These documents can hold all kinds of surprises. And this may come off as controversial, but in my opinion, HOAs exist because living next to people can be hard. And HOAs are designed to give everyone a uniform standard by which everyone agrees to abide. I mean, I've sold houses for people who just were desperate to get away from their HOA. But I've also seen on the other side where somebody moves to their dream property only to have their neighbor build a structure like a pole barn obstructing their view. The purpose of these very strict HOAs is to ensure that the needs and lifestyle preferences of a particular community are met. In independent living communities, this often means strict and legally binding age restrictions. While this is generally seen as a good thing, you will occasionally hear stories about an orphan grandchild who cannot come and live with their grandparents in these communities. The best advice I can give is to read and understand the terms associated with any community you are interested in. There are further things to keep in mind with independent living. Firstly, independent living communities will generally require the resident to sign a contract known as a resident agreement. Now, this is going to be in addition to the HOA bylaws. This agreement will outline the terms of residency, including services provided, fees, and other rights and responsibilities of both the resident and the community. Secondly, most communities will require the resident to undergo a health assessment to make sure they can live independently and determine what, if any, additional services are needed. And this is important because you might not be able to live in a particular community if your health is not falling into their parameters. And then thirdly, it's crucial to have a plan to transition to higher levels of care in the future if it's needed. This kind of cleaves into number 2, because some communities will allow a resident to stay provided they were healthy enough during the initial health assessment. These communities have what is referred to as step care or a continuum of care. Not all communities have this, so it's an important element to consider when speaking to any community. In short, independent living is perfect for healthy adults who are seeking connections and wanting to simplify their daily life, getting rid of some of the heavy burdens of house and yard work so they can embrace a more carefree lifestyle. My name is Melissa Halter. We'd love to hear from you in the comments if you have found this information helpful or if there's something else you think we should cover. And if you would like to know about other senior living options, check out our other videos and playlists.